My name is Summer Hemphill, and today I will be discussing guided math. Guided math is a structure for teaching that allows the teacher to differentiate instruction and support each individual student in their development of mathematical comprehension. Guided math is implemented in small groups and is focused on a particular skill and/or a strategy. In order for teachers to reach each student, they must create flexible grouping, understand how their students learn best, present opportunities for inquiry and discussion, and ultimately build student confidence. Guided math is critical in increasing engagement and understanding. Students are able to receive more intimate instruction and thus have a greater chance of understanding, and with understanding comes confidence, which is an essential part of student willingness and ability to retain information and skill sets. In creating flexible grouping, teachers want to be sure that they do not place a student in one learning group, as that student may have other skill sets in another mathematical concept. For example, if Johnny is doing poor in geometry, who's to say that he may be doing excellent in algebra? Thus, that student should not be placed in a lower group for each individual small group instruction. Johnny should be moved around, and the grouping that the teacher creates should be flexible for all students, as shown through their progress. In determining how your students learn best, it's important that you figure out this information in the beginning of the school year as you try to implement guided math. It's important that you first speak with the student to figure out what works for them, speak to their parents, speak to previous teachers, and look at past assessments. See how they were assessed and what their test scores reflected. In presenting opportunities for inquiry and discussion, it is very important that we as educators allow our students to facilitate their own learning as well as have the opportunity to learn from their peers. There are certainly times that students may be able to describe something to another student in a better way that we as educators may not have realized. So it's very important that students are making that connection in their small groups. This also helps with their confidence. Um, when working together and discussing and figuring things out, students realize that they're not the only ones that are having problems with something. And figuring something out together as students without the teacher's help is much more powerful than just being told information. In regards to confidence, small group instruction is perfect for building confidence. Oftentimes, in large group settings, students may feel um, as though they're being picked on or bullied by the teacher when called to do a math problem. But in small group instruction, they're able to work at a slower pace with less eyes on them, as math is one of those subjects that it seems as though students just have a very difficult time with. Um, so having less eyes on them will help them focus and be more confident in what they're doing. In regards to assessment, assessment is key in guided math. Teachers should use this time to chart progress, both formally and informally. This means teachers should use their observations of students' progress as well as some type of concrete evidence of the student's success, such as a worksheet, a verbal assessment with a rubric, a written assessment with a rubric, some type of test, something that you can see and be able to compare to something else to see how well your students are doing. And since guided math is geared towards standards, it's quite clear to see where your students need to be versus where they are. Um, in regards to implementing guided math, it's important that in the first few weeks of school, you teach procedures, come up with class expectations with your students, and practice, practice, practice. So one tip that I have in implementing guided math should first introduce one station at a time. And as for the practice element, have a few students come up and model how they should behave at this station, and then come back with their class, and their class will assess how well the students um, modeled their behavior. So it's very important in your classroom, especially when doing guided math, that you let students feel a sense of responsibility. Um, because if you don't, they will just get, you know, they won't get anything. They'll just be kids. And so it's very important that you set those expectations, set those boundaries, especially when working with materials. Okay, this has been my spiel on guided math, and I hope that anybody who is watching this does choose to participate in guided math in their own classrooms, as it is very, very, very beneficial, not only for not only for students learning, but also for teachers learning. Um, as an educator, you'll learn a lot about how your students best learn, if that makes sense to you guys.